Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, and welcome to the first installment of A Week in Their Routine, where basically I take a person that I like or that I admire for some reason or that I find successful in some capacity and spend a week in their routine to the best of my ability. So I did already put up a video that sort of explains why I wanted to do this and the goals that I have going into it and what I'm trying to accomplish. So if you're interested in any of the backstory, I'll link it somewhere around here and you can check that out. It's a pretty short little video. So anyway, this is the first one, and I thought, you know what, who better to pick than like the queen of everything, Dolly Parton. So I love Dolly Parton. She is amazing. I really enjoy her music. I'm a big fan of bluegrass and old country, and she just seems like such a delightful person, and I particularly like her work with her Imagination Library. As I've mentioned before, I was a librarian. That's what my degree is in library and information science. I think literacy is really important. I love to read, all of that. But anyway, she's got this whole program called the Imagination Library, which it started in just her county, moved to the surrounding counties, moved to the state, and then sort of spread from there. And basically, you sign up for it, and they send kids a book from the time they're born until they start school. It's one every month, it has their name on it. It is an amazing program, and they've sent out something like 150 million books. And it's just, I really, really love that. So she seems like a lovely person and full of good energy. So I thought, you know what? I think Dolly Parton is the way to go to start this off right. Her schedule is batshit. I will say that. I think I might be setting myself up for a little bit of failure with it, but I'm going to try my best and we'll see. So basically, I've got little notes here just in case, so I make sure I don't forget. But from what I was reading, it's her main thing is that she's an early riser, like a really, really, really early riser. She said she is almost always up by 3 a.m. I am not an early riser. My natural wake up time is like 9 o'clock in the morning. She also said that she doesn't get a whole lot of sleep. She's fine on 3 to 5 hours. She prefers 5 hours. That I already know is not going to work for me. I will get sick in a heartbeat. I sleep a lot. I am one of those people where I feel like I need 8 to 9 hours at night in order to feel fully rested. And if I get less than 7, I'm a hot mess. She said she does go to bed early. She said when she wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, the first thing that she does is pray. She's a very spiritual person. She is super open about her faith. I'm an atheist, so that's not going to work for me. But I figure I can meditate, spend some time with myself, basically, I guess, is how I will interpret that for myself. And then from 3 to 7, she works. She writes, she does emails, she does whatever it is that she needs to be doing. And so my plan is basically to come into the office from 3 o'clock until 7 and sew, or work on home sewing, hand sewing at home, something along that, work on something creative, do some drawing, or make some stickers. At 7-ish, sometime around there, she cooks breakfast for her husband. They eat a whole variety of things, including sausages and whatever. Then, she keeps working. There wasn't a ton of information about how long her workday is or how she structures the rest of her day. It was really just the morning. So that I guess I'll sort of play by ear. One thing that she did mention is that she is always street ready or ambulance ready, depending on what she wanted to call it, which is, and this is a sentiment I'm super familiar with, but basically it's that you need to look good and be presentable all the time if you're not in bed. And that is so that in case something happens and there's an emergency situation and the ambulance is coming for you, you need to look good for the ambulance, right? So I always heard it as like, you should have nice underwear on. Like you shouldn't wear ratty underwear or anything like that because you should be prepared in the event that paramedics have to come get you and put you on an ambulance. You don't want to be all chaotic with the way that you're dressing. You need to be put together and look nice from the bottoms up, basically. I'm excited to try to get my most creative work done really early first thing in the day. I have been struggling in that I will come into work and I'll do the most tedious, like actual business stuff that I have to do. That's the stuff that needs to get done. And then by the time I'm done with that, I am so mentally exhausted that the idea of sitting down and trying to figure out a new pattern or a problem with a garment that I'm working on or something like that is just, it feels beyond my capacity at that moment. So I'm hoping that this will sort of shift it around, let me do the creative problem solving first thing, and then after I take my break at 7, then I can jump into doing the sort of, more tedious standard business stuff that I have to do that doesn't necessarily take a lot of brain power. It's just tiring. So that's the plan. I will see y'all on Monday morning, bright and early at 3 o'clock.
Well, good morning. It is super early in the morning. I did actually manage to get up on time though, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, see, it's 3:10 in the morning, which is fine. I'm making a pot of tea right now, and I have coerced Michael into doing this with me, at least for today, because I don't want to go into the office by myself so early. Yeah, I got maybe 5 hours of sleep last night, which is not too bad. So, and I forgot to bring my camera, so I'm on my iPad, which is the best quality. So
it is right now, I think it's almost 6 in the morning. Yeah, it's 5:52. So I've been at my office for about an hour. I am currently ambulance ready. So far, it's been going good. I cleaned everything up in here because my sewing studio was a big ol' hot mess, and usually I don't have time to clean. More specifically, I don't leave myself enough time to clean. I'd like to get a whole garment done this morning. I'm gonna make this skirt right here. So it is a butterick pattern from, I think, the 70s. Let me double check. Do you not have your date on here? Butterick, what are you doing? Well, I'm fairly certain it's 70s. I don't know specifically when in the 70s, but I'm thinking about making either C or B, which are the same. One has a tie and one has buttons. I've got all of my pattern pieces cut out. I've transferred all of the markings, and I am getting ready to assemble. All right, so we are at 1:45 in the afternoon. I have been here for a while now, and I have actually made a whole complete article of clothing. It is this super cute wrap skirt from a 1970s butterick pattern. So it's adorable. It is the jankiest thing that I have made in ages. So sewing when I am tired is not great. There are a lot of mistakes in this, like more than I normally make. I ruined my buttonhole. My top stitching is weird. I tried to use my rolled hem foot to do my hem, and it is legitimately the most god-awful hem I think I have ever seen. It's fine. It's fine. I struggled with it immensely. Let's see. These scissors belong over here. I am trying today to not be quite as much of a hot mess as I normally am when I sew. Keep everything moderately tidy. Oh, one thing that I was going to do is make up a pattern for a pair of pockets. If I've got them on my little body, I think I kind of want them to be about 6 inches at the top to maybe 8 inches at the bottom. Yeah, 6 inches at the top, 8 inches at the bottom. If they are sitting at my waist, I think I want them to be about 12 inches long. Pockets are pretty big. Okay, so then I am left with a shape that looks like this. And I think that looks pretty good. So right? I've got 6 inches up at the top. This includes seam allowance, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. So it's 6 inches at the top, 8 inches at the bottom, 12 inches big, and then I've done right in the middle, just a narrow little slit, so I'm worked out on my fabric. But basically I'll make 2, and they attach to a little waistband, and then they sit right on your hips underneath your skirt so that you can kind of bloop, pop in and grab stuff that you have chilling in your pockets. Are you ready for bed? Yeah. Is it time? Is it time, my sweet little dude? Yeah. Yeah. Well, good evening. This morning, it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now. It's pretty late. I'm at the office, you know, getting some stuff done for the day, but mostly I just ran some errands and got some other stuff done that needed to be done because this morning was such a wash. Like, I was down for the count, basically. So day 2 for Dolly Parton week was a abject failure, which is fine. So there's always tomorrow to try again. But one thing that I did do today is last night I went to Joann's trying to find some more of the linen that I was going to make my pirate shirt out of, and they didn't have it at all. Like, nothing, which was a bummer. So I went to, and I was also looking for a particular color of bias binding for my pockets, which they also didn't have. So today I drove out to the only other sewing store that is in my area, which is lovely. They've got super cool stuff, but man, are they pricey. I didn't buy any fabric because the linen that they had was like $20 a yard, and not the same type of linen, not the same weight. So I would have to buy like the total yardage, which would make the pirate shirt like $100 shirt, basically. So that's a no-go for right now until I figure out what I'm gonna do. I did get these 2 little things at the sewing store, which are bias tape makers. I don't have these. I've never actually made bias tape before, but I realized looking at their selection of bias tape that they also didn't have the color that I wanted. So maybe they just don't make the color. But for the pockets, I've got this heavyweight, I think it's some kind of like upholstery fabric, but it's just really pretty and kind of subdued and, you know, classy. And it has these little pale pink and pale blue embroidery things in the little scallop design. So I decided that I wanted my pockets to be made out of this. So I just marked where I need my slit to go. And I love it. It's so nice. I thought I'm going to use this for a corset, and I've got more than enough for that. So I thought I should have enough just to do my 2 little pieces for my pockets. So I realized while I was at the store that I have a whole bunch of this, which is, oh jeez, oh crap, god damn it. All right, hold on, let me resituate myself here. Okay, it's not as bad as it looked originally. We're fine, everything's fine. But it is this brocade that I thrifted, and this is very similar to the color that I wanted. I wanted a rose kind of color, a more muted rose. They really only had like really bright pinks, which is not what I wanted. So look at how nice that'll look. So I'm going to use this to be my binding and my waistband for it. I'm going to make 1/2 inch bias tape for this. I don't need it to be particularly thick. I read this really interesting article about how pockets in women's garments was not necessarily it was a political thing, right? Like, you can't let ladies have pockets, I think it was by Vox, in their garments because that is too much power. There's too much possibility for them to carry their own money and carry seditious papers and, you know, be more independent And so after the Industrial Revolution is when you start really seeing this shrinking of pockets. You know, the garments are changing, so stuff is more form fitted. You can't have these big giant pockets underneath everything. I might just start wearing like big skirts and just keeping pockets on me, because I don't actually, I'm one of those kinds of people that I don't like pockets in my clothing. It makes things hang weird, and I hate putting pockets in, and they're so tiny that it's not like it's super useful anyway. So it's just not something that I particularly enjoy in my garments, but I totally get why that is a thing for a lot of people. Um, well, actually, maybe I should finish this part before I stitch them together, because this is going to be much harder to do if I don't have access to it evenly. Yeah, okay, no, glad I thought of that. So we're going to make some bias tape now and go from there. Okay, this fabric is a terrible choice for binding. I can see my mistakes now. All right, so the bias tape maker does work. However, this was not a good fabric to do for this. It's a really dense brocadey kind of fabric, and it can't deal with the things. So I think what I am going to do, but I mean, like, it does work quite nicely. All right, so what I have here are some linen pillowcases, and I am planning on recycling this and making a nice summery top. Kind of like a crop top. Not a full crop top, just short. Well, it is 10 o'clock at night. I just got home from the office. Way later than anticipated, so tomorrow is gonna be fun. This whole thing is a hot mess so far. But I got into a really good flow with an editing project that I was working on, and I just didn't even realize what time it was. It was like 9:30 by the time I even looked at the clock and realized that it was so late already, and Michael was telling me to go home. So he is the most supportive partner. I was complaining that, I think Monday and today would have gone a lot better if I had taken a nap on Monday in the afternoon, kind of like early afternoon around lunchtime. And he agreed, and but I don't have anything to sleep on. I didn't want to sleep on the floor and all of that. So he is going to go to Walmart later and pick up a camping cot for me so that I can have a place to take a nap tomorrow, which is so sweet. It's just really, really sweet. It just makes me feel so loved. That's great. But I need to do some dishes and wash my face and take my makeup off and go to bed, because I am very, very tired now. So this is the end of day 2. It was not a success, but there is always tomorrow. So I will see y'all actually for real, bright and early, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, hi, Finn. What are you doing? Yeah? Oh, I don't think you can see him. He's kind of tucked away. Come here. No, nothing. So, anyway, I will see y'all bright and early in the morning, 3 o'clock, and we'll try again for day 3. So, good night. Well, good morning. It is day 3 of Dolly Parton week, and it is 3:08 in the morning. If I learned anything from yesterday, it's that I need to go ahead and get up and get moving, so I'm going to make some coffee, get started with my day. Well, hello. So it is Dolly Parton day 3, and I'm at my office getting some work done. I got up at 3, had some coffee, got ready, took my dog on a dawn walk. It was about a mile. That was really nice. I actually love early mornings, and this is something that I've known for a little while. I love being up when the world is waking up as well. So it's just really nice. I like how quiet it is. I like how cool it is. And I live in Florida where the summer is very toasty, and it's just really nice to be up so early and to have some quiet time with my husband, and for everything to just be quiet and fresh and new. So that has been really nice and really lovely. I ran a bunch of errands this morning. I am finishing up some work that I have to get done, and then I am going to take a nap. And I am so excited about this nap because I got maybe 3 hours of sleep last night. My dog was not happy, and he let everybody know about it. So, that's fine. He's he's a little dude with his own little personality, and that's just a-okay. But I've got it's 1:20 right now, 1:22. So I need to finish working on the project that I am working on. I probably have another 15 to 20 minutes of work, and then I'm going to give myself like an hour to like lay down. I don't have to take the full hour if I can't sleep, but I'm going to give myself an hour to just relax. And then I am going to get to work on a quilt. So I set up a little cot in my office. It's like right over there by the window, and that's where I will take my naps from now on. It's a little camping cot, like a little folding camping cot. It's actually pretty comfortable. So that's super cool. But I decided to make myself a quilt, and I was at this sewing store yesterday that had a bunch of different kinds of jelly rolls, and there was this beautiful green color path of like batiks, and I loved it. I thought it was gorgeous. I really like green, but I didn't want to do that for my home because it's such a small space. I prefer for everything to be sort of neutrals or wood color. And so I've ordered some other stuff to make a quilt for my house, or my bus, my home, whatever. But once I set the cot up, I was like, you know what? I can have a green quilt at my office. That's totally cool. So I went and picked that up. So I'm going to work on making myself a quick little quilt. I think it's going to be quick. I've got some leftover flannel that I'm going to use for it, and it should just be a fun little easy project. It's just strips that I'm going to sew together. So I'm looking forward to getting started on that in a little bit after I get done with like my actual work. So it's the end of Dolly Parton Day 3. It's the end of Wednesday. It is currently almost 9 o'clock in the evening, and I am ready for bed. Today went a lot smoother than day 1 or day 2. I feel like I kind of figured out a little bit of a method of how to accommodate this sort of sleeping schedule. But basically, I got up at 3, got ready, took my time, made sure that I got my dog out for a really nice long walk when the sun was up, and then I was at the office until about 4-ish, something like that, and I took a nap partway through the day, which was so nice and so helpful. I felt, one, it was like something to look forward to kind of in the middle of my day while I was getting everything done, but then the other thing is that it was very refreshing. Like, I felt much more capable after that. And that has really lasted all through the afternoon. So I ran errands, I did some work projects, I started a new sewing project, just kind of like cutting the pieces out for it. And it's been good, you know. I prepped dinner. Tomorrow we are driving out to Palm Beach, which is quite a drive for us, to pick up a piano that we bought at auction. So we bought it for $2. Actually, I think technically we bought it for $1 and something, and then there was taxes and the auction house fees. So our total was like $2.12 for a piano. So we bought it from a middle school down in Palm Beach. So we have to go drive out there early in the morning. So I think we're heading out here at like 5 to get down to Palm Beach in time for our pickup time and get this piano back here and then into the bus. So tomorrow is going to be a long day, a lot of driving, a lot of heavy lifting, and it's going to be good. So that's pretty much it. I think I am wrapping up Dolly Parton Day 3 and getting ready for Dolly Parton Day 4. So I will see y'all tomorrow on Day 4, which is Thursday. Okay, so we are well past the end of Dolly Parton week. It's actually been a couple of, I guess maybe like 3 weeks since it ended. And you know what? Overall, didn't go great. It was really, really challenging. And I ended up ending it on Friday of that week instead of going all the way to Sunday because it wound up triggering a 2 day migraine. So my whole weekend, that like late Friday, Saturday into Sunday, was just a really, really nasty migraine. And I knew that continuing to get up super early and trying to sort of muscle through it was just going to make the migraine so much worse. So, for my own well being, I ended it early. But you know what? I learned a few things from the whole process, and there were some really nice parts about it. Kind of the biggest takeaway, the thing that I really enjoyed the most, was those really quiet early mornings. And my husband is a very early riser. He is, you know, up and like out the door no later than 5. Like he's just usually up. Usually I don't see him that early in the morning. We don't have that time together. And so it was really nice to have a cup of coffee and to have a quiet morning because neither of us really wanted to like turn the TV on or anything like that. And so we just ended up kind of snuggling and drinking coffee and having early morning talks. And that was really, really nice. I really thoroughly loved and enjoyed that part of it. I didn't really enjoy anything else. I liked being up early before the world woke up and having that quiet, cool time and taking my dog for morning walks, like early morning dawn walks. But outside of that really specific window of time, I didn't enjoy the rest of it and I didn't have an easy time with it. So I think the other takeaway that I got from it, the biggest takeaway, is that, I was talking to my sister about this, that Dolly Parton is most likely, obviously, I don't know her in real life, so it's not like I'm an authority on anything that she's doing in her life, but, chances are that this sort of schedule is allowing her to work with her own creative cycles, to work during the time that she just naturally feels more creative and productive and awake and like ready to make all of the things that make Dolly Parton Dolly Parton. And what I realized for me is that I have no idea when that time is, but it is not early in the morning. It's not, I think, any time in the morning. And so over the last few weeks, I've basically gone the opposite way. And I'm letting my body settle into whatever its natural rhythm is. When do I naturally get sleepy? When do I naturally start to wake up? And surprisingly, I think I'm more of a night owl, which is not something that I ever would have considered myself to be, but I find myself going to bed pretty late at night. I wake up pretty late, but I get a full night of sleep. I feel really well rested and ready to tackle the day when I get up, and I feel more capable of creating things. And I think that was one of the things that was the most challenging about Dolly Parton week, is that because I felt so exhausted and so depleted and just so out of my own rhythm, that doing anything creative was so, so, so difficult. And that meant sewing, editing, photography, some of the things that I have to do for my business. It was such a challenge to get myself into the mental headspace to actually be able to tackle those. Like everything felt overwhelming, everything felt really difficult. It felt like I had nothing left to give to those more creative avenues that I normally am super jazzed about and am ready to tackle on any given day. So since I ended Dolly Parton week and I have been working on just sort of going with what my body's natural rhythm is, I've had a much easier time of doing things and creating and putting things together and keeping on top of all of the things that I need to be doing. Like I'm making a quilt that's coming out great. I'm about to start another quilt. It's chaos in here because I've been working and creating and making things and doing the different projects and work projects that I need to do. And it's been really nice and really easy. So I guess that was kind of a really big learning experiment, is that, it's nice to try new routines and to try the things that are working for other people, but maybe I was just overthinking it. And I was making it more complicated and more difficult for myself than it needed to be. So that was my takeaway from Dolly Parton week. And that's cool. Different strokes for different folks. there's something that works for everybody, and I'm still in the process of finding exactly what it is that is going to work for me. So that is pretty much it for Dolly Parton week. I hope it was interesting and entertaining and all that jazz. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, subscribe, come back, check on me. It'll be a lot of sewing, maybe some quilting. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.